Something unusual is happening in the tech world. For years, RAM and SSD prices fell like clockwork, cheaper, faster, more abundant. But in 2025, that pattern shattered. Some memory modules are now up 60%. Others have surged over 170% year over year, and major manufacturers are abandoning consumer products entirely. If you're building or upgrading a PC, the shockwave is coming. This is the 2026 memory crisis, and the industry will never be the same. December 2025. Micron, one of the world's top memory manufacturers, made a decision nobody expected. They're shutting down their entire consumer memory business. Crucial SSDs, crucial RAM, everything by February 2026. Not because they're failing, not because demand is low, but because the consumer market simply doesn't matter anymore. The profit is elsewhere, and that elsewhere is changing the memory industry from the ground up. This was the first domino. The reason behind the price spike has nothing to do with gaming PCs, laptops, or DIY builders. It's artificial intelligence. AI data centers are consuming more DRAM, NAND, and high-bandwidth memory than any industry in history. A single AI training cluster can require tens of thousands of memory modules. Multiply that by every hyperscaler, AWS, Google, Microsoft, Meta, all racing to expand capacity. Manufacturers now face a choice: sell memory to consumers for modest margins, or allocate wafers to AI customers who will pay any price. The shift is brutal. NAND wafer prices surged 60% in a single year. Samsung raised memory chip prices by up to 60%. DRAM prices jumped 171.8% year over year. Multiple suppliers are already sold out through 2026 and 2027. What we're seeing is not a shortage. It's a redirection away from consumers and toward AI. For decades, memory was an afterthought. Predictable, cheap, commodity hardware. But the world changed in 2025. Memory is no longer a PC upgrade. It's the backbone of AI. HBM, enterprise NAND, and high-density DRAM now drive everything from training clusters to autonomous vehicles. To the industry, memory isn't a component anymore. It's infrastructure, and consumers are no longer the priority. When even Samsung, the world's largest memory producer, starts cutting consumer products, you know the shift is real. Instead of increasing supply to stabilize prices, Samsung slowed or halted multiple consumer SSD and DRAM lines. All available wafer capacity is moving toward high-bandwidth memory, HBM, enterprise DRAM, data center-grade NAND. Why? Because these products earn 10 times to 20 times the profit of consumer DRAM. In a world driven by AI, consumer SSDs are no longer worth building. Analysts warn this isn't a temporary spike. Some forecasts show elevated memory prices lasting until 2028 or beyond. Wholesale RAM vendors are reporting costs rising 3 times to 5 times in certain capacities. Even smartphone makers who buy at massive scale say memory is now one of their single most expensive components. The industry has quietly entered a new reality. Demand is infinite. Supply cannot keep up, and AI gets first priority. Consumers are at the end of the line. Gamers feel it. PC builders feel it. Anyone upgrading a laptop or expanding storage feels it. But behind all these price spikes and product cancellations lies a deeper story, one the industry doesn't like to talk about. The 2026 memory crisis isn't just about high demand or not enough supply. It has quietly turned into a global technological power struggle. As AI models grow larger and more computationally demanding, nations are scrambling to secure their own pipelines of DRAM, NAND, and especially HBM. The United States is tightening export controls. China is pouring billions into building a self-sufficient memory ecosystem. And Taiwan, the heart of the world's semiconductor manufacturing, is caught in the center of growing geopolitical tension. Everyone wants guaranteed access to wafers. Everyone wants priority for AI accelerators. and wafer allocation has become a global bidding war where only the richest players survive. Industry analysts warn that HBM production capacity is on track to become the single biggest bottleneck in the entire tech world. Every next-generation AI chip, whether it's NVIDIA's Blackwell, AMD's Instinct, Intel's Gaudi, or custom accelerators from Amazon and Google, depends on massive stacks of high-bandwidth memory. But producing HBM isn't easy. It requires advanced packaging lines, ultra-precise stacking processes, and clean rooms that only a handful of companies on Earth can operate. This means one thing. For the next several years, the world isn't just facing a memory shortage. We're entering an era where access to silicon itself becomes a form of power. Countries will negotiate for it, corporations will fight for it, and consumers caught between geopolitical strategy and AI expansion will feel the impact long before prices ever come down. But AI companies, they're unaffected. They get first access to wafers, they sign long-term supply contracts, and they pay prices consumers never could. This isn't a shortage. This is a reallocation of the global memory supply, and everyday users are the collateral damage. So what can you do? If you find RAM or SSDs at reasonable prices, buy now. Expect shortages and spikes throughout 2026. Large SSDs 2 terabytes, 4 terabytes, 8 terabytes will be the first to disappear. The used market may become essential for budget builds. Enterprises will hoard supply, squeezing consumers even further. PC builders will need strategy, not luck. Will memory prices eventually fall? Or are we entering a future where RAM and SSDs are permanently expensive? The truth is simple. It depends on AI. If AI demand keeps scaling at its current rate, memory may never return to the prices we once knew. For the first time in decades, the memory market is unpredictable, and that changes everything. The 2026 memory crisis is not a headline, it's a turning point. If you're building a PC, upgrading a laptop, or just buying storage, pay attention, because the world just entered a new computing era, and the price of memory will never be the same.